Following the cold reception of The Rise of Skywalker, Disney retreated from movie theaters for 7 full years. They needed that time for the brand to cool off, hoping that a long absence would make the audience hungry for a return to the big screen. Their comeback plan relied on a very specific calculation, taking their most successful streaming asset, a small green puppet from Disney Plus, and placing him on a premium IMAX screen to see if he could carry a feature film. This strategy relies on a familiar mascot to bypass the need for a fresh cinematic hook. By treating a television character as a theatrical shortcut, Disney is asking audiences to pay movie theater prices for a story they've been getting at home for years. The initial reality check arrived with the first box office tracking numbers. The projections for the 4-day Memorial Day opening are currently hovering between $71 and $85 million. To see how low that bar is, you have to look back at Solo, a Star Wars story. That film is the benchmark for a Star Wars failure, the movie that famously stalled out at a $103 million opening. It is a remarkable achievement in brand management. After 7 years of planning, Lucasfilm has managed to stir up less anticipation for their grand return than they did for the very movie that broke their theatrical schedule in 2018. These projections indicate that the Disney Plus era has successfully trained the public to view this galaxy as background noise, something that belongs on the couch rather than the big screen. The low hype makes more sense when you look at how the movie actually looks. Disney recently invited a group of journalists to a 15-minute press screening in Los Angeles, expecting to build positive momentum. But the momentum went the other way. A review from Polygon described the footage as feeling like a generic video game, specifically criticizing the shallow backgrounds that resemble Zoom-style Netflix visuals and calling the result downright unforgivable. Director Jon Favreau leaned heavily on the volume, the massive LED screen stage used for the streaming series. That tight portrait mode framing works when it's framed by a living room, but it exposes a certain laziness when projected on an IMAX screen. Audiences can spot the difference between a meticulously built cinematic event and a mid-budget television episode. They simply aren't willing to pay a premium to see the latter. The marketing campaign struggled early on, starting with a multi-million-dollar Super Bowl commercial. The 36-second teaser told the audience almost nothing about the story, serving only to irritate a fanbase looking for a reason to care. Leaked reviews from subsequent screenings haven't helped. Early viewers have complained that the story feels strictly aimed at children, playing more like 3 or 4 TV episodes stitched together than a coherent movie. Industry analysts defend these numbers, claiming a late marketing push, or the story's standalone nature. They are ignoring the obvious. Star Wars used to be an event that stopped the world. Now, after years of oversaturation, it has become just another piece of content that audiences feel comfortable ignoring. The production issues are only part of the story. The empty theaters point to a more permanent problem, the demographic collapse of the Star Wars fandom. According to the Michael Lewis survey, Generation X makes up 26% of the fanbase, carrying the IP since 1977. But that core audience is exhausted. As the data shows, Generation Z hasn't stepped in to fill the void, stalling at just 15%. For decades, Star Wars was a cultural requirement, a lifestyle brand that occupied physical space in the lives of children. It was the shared language of youth culture. That connection has been severed. No franchise can survive long-term if its original supporters feel alienated and their children see the brand as a chore. Disney's strategy relied on the hope that viral Baby Yoda memes would automatically translate into ticket sales. They mistook clicks for commitment. The new generation shows almost no investment in the lore of the New Republic or the Mandalorian Creed. To them, the character is just a recognizable image to be scrolled past. If the current tracking holds, this film will serve as the official death certificate for the IP's theatrical viability. If the most marketable character of the decade can't even outperform the opening weekend of Solo, the era of Star Wars as a cinematic titan is over. Disney isn't launching a new franchise. They are organizing a wake.